because God is revelatory. He's always truth revealing. Okay, and he's secured
And how do
the
you
fact
know
that we
that
can
is
know
true?
things to be the case because God's revealed it to be the case. God's the basis of my epistemology.
Um,
Oh yeah.
I would have to allow Jay to speak for himself as to the reasons he does
Well,
what
right,
he
and
does.
I'm just going to real quick before,
Thanks,
and
guys.
then I'll turn it over to Jay. Is that Jeff? I disagree with your thesis there. I think J. Robin is a carbon copy of Darth. But go ahead, Jay. The floor is yours.
Morning. I don't. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a
Can
carbon
barely,
copy of.
Jay, we can't hear you.
Okay, hold on a minute.
I
Let me
I
switch
had
my
asked
headsets.
same kind of question I had asked you, Jay, but what keeps you pressed on this? And we were just talking about that.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, much better.
All right. Um, is there a question or something that somebody was asking me?
God exists because
No, 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 no. Let's not go there. So Jay, the question was, is curious as to what keeps you specifically, and we were talking about Darth, and he's not here, and so, but for you specifically, what keeps you pressed in wanting to continue to um, do the precept thing and go into these rooms and sometimes perhaps get a little what's the word? You're not charitable, perhaps. You're sometimes do come across as a little rude and just
Get back.
curious as to what drives that.
Well, we're doing what Second Corinthians 10:5 says, which is that we're destroying speculation, putting every thought into captivity that raises itself against Jesus Christ. I'm paraphrasing, but that's just the essence of what it says. Um, yeah, we're bringing glory to God through that. And of course, if atheists are as rational as they say they are, they would come to submission to Jesus Christ,
So
the
so
God
let
that's
me ask
revealed
you a
him.
question, Jay. When you call people by the wrong names, like you purposely misgender or transgender person, do you think that's kind or being Christ-like or is helping to bring people into the kingdom?
I'm not going to placate to people who have thinking that is not aligned with what God says about the nature of human beings. So if they
So
consider that rude or offensive, well, there are plenty of things that are rude and offensive to people that people consider rude and offensive that um, that's their prerogative to feel that way, but that doesn't mean I have to cater to them.
So
so if a person,
Being
you won't ever
being
use quote unquote female names. It's
what do you
just a
say?
name. Well, it's just a name change, right? Like if I decided
Yeah,
to
but
call
it does
myself,
it,
no,
it
no, but why are
represents
you
it
interrupting me?
represents.
Why are you interrupting me?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
If I decided to change my name and call it, Leslie or Charlie or one of many names, you'd be like, I'm not calling you that. You're a girl. You need to have a girl's name. I mean, it's a little bit what's the word? We're on an app where most people aren't even using their real names.
childish.
Is your name Robin? Probably not, right?
No,
So what
but
wouldn't it be
yeah,
the
look.
polite
Uh,
thing to do
mhm.
to just call people by their names they have on their little icon, and like all these people have little names. Why not just use that?
Yeah, because I'm not gonna pretend like you obviously understand what's going on, right? It's not a mere issue of me having J. Robin as my name on Cliff House. I don't need to explain to you. I don't think I need to explain to you because I think you're smarter than that. Okay, you understand exactly what's going on, which is that the name that he put on there represents something other than who he is with respect to how God made him as a man. Like this is
See,
obvious. It's not
you
an issue.
keep
It's not an
saying
issue. It's
D.
not an
Why? Wait a
issue.
minute.
It's not an issue.
Wait,
It's not an
wait, wait, wait,
issue.
wait, wait,
Can you let me
Hold on,
finish,
hold
please?
on. Yeah,
So
well, you can
I
finish,
when
but
I'm
shut
not
the fuck up for a second.
I didn't want to interrupt Haiti, which is
Yeah,
why I
let
stopped
him
talking.
finish. Let him
So let me
finish.
finish. Yeah. Um. So yeah, it's not an issue. It's not an issue of me having like an alias online. That it's not even like a gender specific alias. It's just J. Robin, right? So I mean, but it's obvious that Brendan's name is representing the fact that he wants to change. He wants to represent himself as a female when it's not the case that he's a female.
Okay,
I mean,
but
this is
here's the thing,
obvious.
real quick. What I was trying to
Let
say
him
is like,
finish.
why not have
Wait, let him
respect for?
finish.
Why I
I'm
understand that,
done.
but
I'm done.
he's talking about a completely different issue than what you're calling him out on. It's just a matter of respect. We're not talking about what your beliefs are as far as what people are born as. It's why not have enough respect for your fellow human beings to adhere to their wishes. I mean, it doesn't do anything to you to call somebody by the name they want to be called by.
Well, no,
I was just wondering if I could ask something
it is
actually,
an
just
issue
really
of,
quick.
yeah, it's an issue
I mean,
of
really quick. Just okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Um, so if somebody that you know, if like a friend or a family member or like a work colleague or something like that, if they get married, do you refuse to call them by their married name because they used to be
This
like
is not an
they
issue of
used to
maiden
be
names. Can you please like I'm sure you have a little bit more focus on the issue. Then this is not about an issue of maiden names. Can you just stop?
Okay, so what
Like
what I
you're
think I
we're
hear
like
you
are we just
say?
playing this like charade
No, no,
game?
no, no.
Like it's not about
You're
maiden
just trying
names.
to make a point that you don't
It is not a
think
good
no
point.
that
It's
you
not a
trying to
good
don't
make a
analogy. It's
think
not
point
a good
you
point.
just no
that
no.
you'll
I'm
It's not a
call
saying
good
Jay
point. Can
somebody
you
Robin.
stop
by their
pretending
new
like you
name if
like
they
don't
get
pretend like you
married.
have a
But you
point.
won't if they.
Jay Robin,
All
you're
right.
trying to
Okay.
make a point, right?
Yeah, but it's not. It
You're
has nothing to
saying
do with
no,
maiden names. Like it's obvious. It has nothing
no,
to
I
do with
get it.
maiden names.
The
This is like
point
obvious
you
to
are
anyone who has
making.
two brain cells.
Yeah, I get it. The point you were making when you refuse to use a name that's their given name on this app is that you don't think men should be transgender, change it to women, and then change the name. You don't like it, so you're not going to go along with it.
I never
That's
even
your reason,
mentioned
right?
names. Like I never
You
even brought up
call
the
her
word name.
Brendan,
The only
Robin.
thing. Yeah, listen, I call him Brendan because the name that he has there represents a female persona when it's not a female person.
And I just
Okay,
explained.
but
Well,
I
like
just
it's
asked you
the
to
point is that
clarify
that's the
why.
only issue. It's not about a name. Like the issue
No,
isn't
but
about
it actually
names
is.
in and of themselves.
Yeah, it
No,
is.
it's
it
not.
is about the
It
name,
is.
Jay.
No,
It
not
is
It is.
about
really.
the
It
No,
is
it's
name.
about the
not.
name. To me, it's
No,
about the name.
listen. The fact, like the name is a relevant
Clearly
issue,
not
but
to you.
it's not about names. No, the fact is that he's representing himself as a female. That's the issue. So the representation in this case comes as a form of a name, but I would represent him as a male either way. Like it's just the fact that I'm representing him in a male fashion through the name, but it's a representation of himself. This is obvious. Like if you're just focusing on what like on the issue and you understand like what I'm doing
I
and
understand
like
what you're
just the
doing.
issue and like okay, if you understand what I'm doing, then you shouldn't be like
No,
maiden
I'm
names have
telling
nothing to do
you,
with
it's
this. Like if you
incredibly
just
hateful.
focus.
But I do
Yeah,
understand
just
what you're doing.
focus on the issue, please, Haiti.
I have done
Well,
This
nothing
is not
but
about
focus on the
names.
issue.
Jay,
I
All right.
suggest to you that you call this person that you don't accept as a woman Brenda, not Brendan, because then you won't look like a fucking asshole. That's what I suggest to you, J.
Okay.
Robin. Even
Well,
if
I'm going to continue
secretly,
to call him
even if
Brendan.
secretly you think inside this shouldn't be happening, I hate it, I don't agree with it, it goes against God. Just call the person by the name they ask you to call them by. That's all I
All right.
suggest to you. And that's why
Um.
people are mad at you, if you were wondering.
Yeah, people can be mad at me. That's not any loss. You know, I don't lose any sleep
Fantastic.
about
You're
that.
like a little baby, Jay. You're like
So
a little
okay,
baby.
that's fine. I'm going to continue to call him Brendan. And if you're sad about that, and if you're unhappy about that, that's unfortunate, really. But that's not something
Yeah,
I
I
lose
get
any
it. You
sleep
don't
about.
care. I get it.
but
You don't care.
Jay,
Obviously
I
it
get it.
but
That's
it
fine.
Jay,
troubles you. It
No,
troubles
no. I
you,
just gave you some
and that's
advice.
unfortunate. And I hope it wouldn't trouble you, and I hope that you come to the knowledge of the
Yeah,
truth,
I
which is
understand you
a
but
don't
Christian
care.
Jay,
Christian
I
worldview.
understand you
But
yeah,
if
but
don't
that's
Jay,
care.
not the
you
case,
still
I'm gonna still do what I do. And if that means that you don't want to
Yeah,
associate
that
with
does
me or
mean that.
anything like that,
Yeah,
that's
but
fine.
Jeff will continue to
Okay, that's
yeah.
okay.
expect.
That's okay. You came to me, I can
Well,
come to you, Haiti. So that's okay. I
well,
don't need to
you still not
associate with
answered the
you.
question though, Jay. You still not answered why you do it.
Because he doesn't like trans
I
people.
already told you it's
How hard
right.
is it that to
I told you I'm doing
understand?
what's
He
righteous.
thinks it's
That's why.
wrong. It's
That's
not hard
right.
to understand.
Jay, do
Hmm.
you not uh, recognize the distinction between the biological and the social contract when it comes to
Yeah,
gender?
I don't subscribe to that whole scenario right there. I don't subscribe to this idea. No.
Here's my question for you,
It's obvious that he wants to represent himself.
Hey
It's
Jay,
obvious that he wants
how
to
do you
I'm answering
fucking
the
know
question.
people, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm answering the question. If you don't want me on the stage, you don't have
No,
to have
you
me on the
weren't
stage.
answering. Here's the
I was
thing.
invited here.
Yeah,
I don't need
look.
to be here. I don't need
Okay,
to
well,
be here.
fine. But here's the thing. I just want to ask you one simple question. Do you
Yeah.
think Jesus would act towards Brenda the way you do?
Yes.
then you are a
Hell
fucking
no.
idiot.
Okay, according to you, so like there. I mean, look, we're just talking very surface level, but I could get into like atheism and morality and everything like that, and like how you can ground that. Which I mean, I don't have to get into that, but I mean, I can if that's really the issue here. Like,
Jay,
how
I'm going to call you
on what
Jenny.
basis are you even telling me? On what basis are you even telling me? Yeah, I'm not gonna get to. If you call me a different name, as long as it's not something obscene, um,
Yeah, I'm just
yeah,
going to call you
I could
Jenny.
just tell it's because I could just tell for one, it's because you're just purposely trolling. You don't have.
I like you troll, Brendan.
There's no principled objection you have to my name. It's
Calm
just
down, Jenny.
obvious. So you're just trolling at this point. But I'm not gonna
So
get all
so
super offended like these people are here. I'll
so
just
you're
call you up
saying
for a troll and then
so you're saying
disassociate with
if you
you
have
like I already
so
have.
you're saying
So
if you
so
have a principal objection to a person's name, that it's okay to call them by a
no,
different name.
no. I'm bringing up the fact that it's a necessary. I didn't say it was a sufficient condition, but it's a necessary condition. It's obvious. It's obvious here that J.K. doesn't have a principled objection to this. So I mean, it just disqualifies him automatically, just doing it for
Nor
the
do
sake of
you.
trolling it, for the
Jenny's
sake of
Nor
just
do
doing it.
throwing
you.
a tantrum.
Right.
She's throwing a
Look.
So
That's
again,
all I
if
have
you've
to say
got
on that issue.
if
Is
you've
there
got
another?
if you've got a principal objection, then you find it acceptable to
No, I
not
didn't
call
say that.
people.
I just explained to you. I said it was a necessary but not sufficient condition. Do you know what the difference between those two things are?
All I hear is you justifying being an asshole.
Okay, so you don't know what it is. I can explain it to you. You don't have to do that childish thing you just did. Okay, a
It's not a
necessary
childish
versus
thing. I hear you being an
sufficient
asshole. It's a
condition.
true
So
statement.
I'm explain. I'll explain it to you since you don't know what it is. It's okay.
I didn't say I
Um,
didn't know, but okay.
you don't know what it is. It's okay. I'm not making fun of you for it. I'm just you don't know what it is. I'll explain it to you. So a necessary condition, right? So for example, I'll just give like an analogy. A necessary condition in this case. So if you say like being an animal is a necessary condition for being a dog, but that doesn't mean all animals are dogs, right? There's more conditions that are required to classify something as a dog, right? And so those conditions would be along with a necessary condition, a sufficient condition or sufficient conditions, right? So in this case, having a principled objection is a necessary but not sufficient condition for doing what I'm doing, which is calling or representing him as a man, Brendan. Okay. Um, so I didn't say that it was the
Whatever
only
you say,
required thing,
Jamie.
right? But the point is that if you don't have the necessary condition, like so, if something is not an animal, it immediately disqualifies them from being a dog. So if you don't have a principled objection, I would consider that a necessary condition. So in my view, I would classify you as a troll if you're just doing it for no reason or for no like principled reason. You're just being arbitrary. So
So
yeah,
again, you've got
that's
a
what a necessary
principal
condition is.
reason. You have a
Hmm.
necessary principal condition which justifies your behavior. Is that correct?
In part, but not in whole. So that's the point. It's a necessary condition. It's not sufficient condition. So it's in part, but not in whole. It's required, right? It's a part of the justification for me doing it, but it's not the only thing that's required. Not everyone with a
Okay.
principled objection, I would say, is justified in doing X, Y, Z.
Okay. So what are your other justifications then?
Well, I
If
believe that it is a righteous thing to do. So the principled objection,
it's a
I
righteous thing
believe
to
that
do to
yeah.
misgender
Oh,
people and
there
call
he
them
is.
by a
Well,
name
well,
other.
that's a loaded question, or
That's a
that's
righteous
a
thing
loaded
to
and
do.
well, you're
Jenny,
begging
what
the
do you mean by
question.
righteous?
You're begging the question right now because you're saying misgendering, and that I'm,
Yes,
with that of course
that's what you're
comes
doing.
the
That's
notion.
not begging the question.
So
That's a statement of fact.
let me finish. Implicit in that is obviously the notion that I'm being improper or that I'm doing something immoral or wrong, which is obviously not the case.
No, you're just being an asshole.
Right. So you're just saying I'm doing something improper or wrong, right?
No, you're
That's
just
what I'm
being an
saying.
asshole.
You're
It's not
so
improper or
yes you
wrong. You
are
can do it all you want.
yes
You're just being an asshole.
you are begging the question against me doing against me doing something else
No, he's just
improper.
calling you an
It's obvious.
arsehole, Jenny. That's all he's doing.
Okay, you can do whatever you want to do. I like. Do you think I'm affected in some like profound or deep way by this?
No, I don't. I really think that you
Assholes don't
probably.
usually
Okay.
care.
Yeah, I
Assholes
think
don't
All right.
usually care.
Okay.
yeah,
All right. So
I think
is there anything else that you'd like to ask me before I go?
Yes, yes. I'm just curious. You do recognize the distinction between sex and gender, but just refuse to separate those. Is that kind of it?
Yeah, I don't play into the whole gender theory uh, uh, stuff that people like to push.
Like
I
if
could
I
use
wanted
stronger
to,
language, but I don't want to.
if I wanted to
But yeah,
live my life as Kavina, the woman, but still recognize that I'm a male, biologically, that wouldn't fly with you.
no,
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Let me ask you
because
this.
God defines what a man is and what a female is, and uh, that is explicit within the Bible. So the Bible makes it clear that you're not supposed to be representing yourself as a man, being an effeminate man, and then likewise for a woman.
So you think it would be okay for us to all start calling Darth Gary?
Um, you could do whatever you want to. Of course, you'd just be trolling. You don't even have a basis for even assuming that his name is Gary. But if you want to do
His
that,
name is Gary Billon, and he lives in New
you'll
Jersey. His
just
name is Gary
you'll
Billon, and he
just
lives in New Jersey in his mother's basement, and he's divorced, and he gave his wife venereal diseases.
okay. All right.
Oh, Gary boy, Gary and Jenny.
You,
Yeah, so I do know that
do
much about
you
him.
do you wish Jewish people happy Hanukkah, or do you like tell them Merry Christmas just to make the point? Because it's like your beliefs, right, and that's right for everyone. That's for Robin.
If somebody doesn't celebrate, what does that have to do with what we're
Because
talking
you
about right
said
now?
this is how God wanted it, right? Therefore, I'm going to do this. This is how I'm going to treat
Well,
everyone.
Christmas isn't even in the Bible. Like the word Christmas isn't in the
So
Bible.
you did miss my point. Okay.
No, because I don't believe it's right or wrong to celebrate Christmas.
Okay. I didn't ask you that.
What about?
I said,
Yeah.
Well, no, because you did.
what did
Yes,
I
you did.
ask you?
No, she didn't.
What did I
You
ask
asked me. You asked me if I'd tell somebody like a Jewish person
you? Would
Happy
you?
Hanukkah instead of Happy Christmas because
Okay.
it's
So would
because it's
you?
because it's Christmas is right.
And what's,
Happy
yeah.
Hanukkah. As long as Hanukkah, I don't know much about Hanukkah, but I don't believe. I think it was about a battle that they had. So I could say Happy Hanukkah to somebody. I don't think it's an immoral holiday to celebrate. But if it's some satanic holiday or some like Ramadan or something like that, I'm not going to tell a Muslim Happy Ramadan or
Wait. What?
celebrate something.
You're not going to tell? Why are you not going to tell him us? I didn't know this.
Because
What's wrong with Ramadan?
Ramadan has to do with their
Oh.
it's a traditional Islamic holiday
Mm-hmm.
that's specific to like Islam and the Islamic faith.
Well, yeah.
I don't believe Hanukkah has. If Hanukkah has to do with
The
with
Jewish holiday.
Jewish, yeah. Can you let me finish, please?
Well, I'm really
Hanukkah has to
confused.
do. Hanukkah doesn't have to. Look, I just told you earlier I don't know much about Hanukkah, but I don't believe it has much to do with like classical Judaism or not classical, like modern Judaism,
Well,
right?
I mean, it's
So,
just a religious
but
holiday.
like if I
Yeah.
find out more about it and I find out that I wouldn't say Happy Hanukkah either. I don't really say Happy Hanukkah anyways, but
It's just
I'm not
you live
for or
in a
against necessarily
you
that.
you you live in a
So.
country with different people and
Yeah,
different
look,
religions, and you're
listen,
just
listen.
like saying,
You're not gonna change my
"Nah."
opinion unless you can provide something substantive.
Well, you
You just
just interrupted me.
kind of emotionally. You're just like you just have these
No,
emotional
no, I
objections to
really
me.
don't. No, I really don't.
But really, yeah, you really do.
Well,
Yeah, it's
if you let
obvious.
me finish, maybe. I'm just curious how someone can live in America and just like refuse to acknowledge the existence of other religions and other people and just have a sort of basic
Have I
level of
refused the
courtesy. It's just
have you
weird.
have I refused or have I not acknowledged the existence of other uh religions? Have I not acknowledged that?
Only to say they're wrong and that you wouldn't say Happy Hanukkah or Happy
Yeah, you believe
Ramadan.
they're wrong too. You believe they're wrong too.
Yeah, I would tell you Happy Christmas.
Okay.
Okay,
No, but
I
you
don't
believe
know.
they're
I guess.
wrong. So both of us believe they're wrong.
Oh
So
my
so then
god.
you the whole thing would come back onto yourself too. Like
Yeah.
you just like look, Haiti, you need to think through more what you're saying a little bit more than just
Oh,
because you
I
just
do.
yes you do. I'm not saying that to be mean to you. I'm just saying that you're
Yeah. Okay.
just like
Well,
obvious
you
like
never let
blunders
me
that you're making.
finish. But I would just say that you live in a world where, unfortunately for you, there are other people, there are other religions, there are other beliefs, and you come across as incredibly intolerant. And people are just not going to like you. And maybe you don't care, and that's fine. But you're quite young, and
Well,
I would
plenty of
hope
people
that
do
you
like me.
grow up.
Plenty of people don't like me. So I don't. I mean,
Yeah, you
look, the people who
interrupted me
don't like
again.
me for the
They also
reason
don't like you
I
because you
said.
interrupt people and cut them off.
Okay.
That's another
Only
reason why they
Gary
don't
does.
like you, JRobin. Try not to
All
interrupt
right.
people. That's another advice for you.
Jenny, I have a
Okay.
question. When did you first meet Gary?
I don't know why this is about Darth Dawkins.
Jenny?
What?
Who's Jenny? Yeah, I don't even know who
Oh,
Jenny
that's you,
is.
apparently.
You.
That's you.
My name is Jenny.
That's your new nickname,
Well,
Jenny.
Oh,
Jenny,
okay.
yeah, it's a J. I mean, it works. Yeah, Jenny.
Okay.
Well, originally I said Jaylene. I thought
Yeah, you're
Jaylene.
not gonna, you don't affect me as profoundly as I affect you. It's okay. Like I know you want to
No.
have the level
So
of
so
effect on
so
me that I have
let
on
me ask
you,
you a
but it's not
question.
gonna
Let me
work.
ask you a question. Hey, Jay Robin, have you seen the video that's posted at the top in the link where I had a conversation with
No, I
Darth?
don't really care for Tom Rabbit or his
Okay.
videos.
Okay, so let me ask you. I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Darth. Why is it necessary for facts to be grounded in a disembodied mind?
Because with a mind comes that, well, I would say that a mind is a prerequisite for God being revelatory, and God being revelatory is required for epistemology, because otherwise we're left in a world where we're left with our own autonomous mind and pure reason alone,
Wait, what's the
aside,
argument for that?
and divorced from that which is ultimate. We cannot come to knowledge of that which is true,
Can,
or just in basic, or in general, just have acquisition of the truth.
okay, so you just made a claim and you've said some things that you
Yes.
believe. Can you put that in the form of an argument or a syllogism with an argument and
Well, it's
a
just a
premise and a
reductio ad
couple of arguments
absurdum.
behind it?
It's just a reductio ad absurdum. So there's two worldviews. Okay, we have a worldview where
There's
um,
only two
God
worldviews.
exists. God exists. Yeah, are you gonna let me finish? I thought you had a big problem with me
Well, no,
interrupting.
I just threw in the one. Just was.
Yeah, can you let me finish,
Well,
please?
right, but I just.
I thought you had a
There's only,
problem with
you
me
said there's
interrupting.
only two worldviews, and there's not only two
Yeah,
world.
I thought you wanted me to finish speaking. I thought you wanted to be like no interruptions and have
Let
a good
let him finish
conversation.
because he's
Yeah.
still not giving me a syllogism and argument. So.
Okay. So there's two positions you can have here with respect to God and His revelation. You either have God existing, and He takes the initiative, of course, to reveal Himself and to impart knowledge onto those that you know creaturely agents, right, like ourselves, or you have a worldview where that's not the case, right? And one such worldview would be like, for example, God does not reveal, or you don't have any sort of access to that which is ultimate and foundational, right? So then the only thing you'd be left with is your own autonomous mind, okay? Outside and divorced and departed from that which is ultimate revealing itself. Okay, so then when you speak, well, on what basis are you making statements about truth? It's not on the basis of God's revelation, by which you can know God exists and that God, and in the ways, in certain ways that God has created and constructed the world. You just be left with your own autonomy, right? So then every statement of fact that you make would be utterly and completely meaningless. It wouldn't be with respect to a metaphysic that you could foundation, or you could have a
Uh,
basis for.
Okay, let me restate the question this way. Why is it that facts must be grounded in a disembodied mind, vice just human consciousness or energy or
I just
matter or
explained
the
to you.
universe
I
existing?
gave you the reductio. So a
No,
reductio ad absurdum.
you made some claims that it
Yeah,
has to be
all
this.
arguments are claims.
Can,
Okay, arguments are composed
yeah,
of a bunch of
can you
claims.
put that in the form of a syllogism where somewhere in that syllogism you need to say, therefore, all facts must be grounded in a disembodied mind? Can you do that?
I just gave you. So did you hear the reductio ad absurdum I just gave it to you?
Yeah, so you
That
didn't
there
answer the
so there.
question.
So do you know what a reductio ad absurdum is?
You don't have an argument. Is that what you're saying? If you don't have an argument, just say you don't have an argument. You can't do it.
Yeah. Look. I'm not
Do
gonna
you
do
have an
this with
argument?
you, Jeff.
Right, but you
I
don't
just
have an
gave it to
argument.
you.
I have
All
no
right,
reason to believe.
Jeff. Look. Look,
I
Jeff.
have no reason to believe that facts must be grounded in a disembodied mind, and you were unable to
Okay.
give me an argument.
I
So
just gave
please
you a
help me
reason.
understand.
Did you hear the reason?
No,
Okay.
you
Can you repeat back to me what I told you? How
yes,
about that?
because
Let's start there.
if we do not believe that God is a disembodied mind and the facts are grounded in that, we are reduced to absurdity that we have our own consciousness and there's no way to know if our consciousness, if our abilities to think of things is correct or not. That it has to have some objective source of truth. That's what you're saying.
That was partially correct. I think you could be a little bit clearer with it. I'm just saying that, yeah, essentially you
Okay,
don't
so
have a
again,
basis. You don't have a basis. So let me clarify, or just make sure that I'm putting it in a way that's succinct and that is represented properly. That there is no basis, right, for you to assume um, anything about the world, for you to predicate, for you to operate in the world meaningfully, because you don't have access to that which is metaphysically primary. You don't have access to the nature of truth. So when you assert truth, you're doing so meaninglessly. You don't have any basis by which you can assert truth.
What about
No,
corroboration
assertion.
by others?
why does the
Yeah, that the
metaphysical why
corroboration by others is not going to help you.
can
To
you
even assert that there is corroboration by others requires for you to invoke a metaphysic, which you don't have access to.
can you tell me why
Okay.
metaphysical truth must be grounded in a disembodied mind?
because God would be revelatory. If God was revelatory, he'd have to be a mind because God that requires God to be personal, right? And God being personal and relational requires God
Begging
being a
the
mind.
question.
So no, it's
Yes.
just
So
definitional. It's
so
just
you basically
definitional.
you
It's
basically
analytically
you
true.
don't, yeah, you just don't
So
have an
so
argument is what I'm hearing.
can you let me finish, please? Can you let me finish?
Sure.
Can you actually address the reductio I just gave to you? This the because I'm establishing the transcendental necessity of God, right? So that is done a lot of times through reductio ad absurdum, where you are showing that if something were
Okay, I
not the
could
case,
I could
so
say everything you.
you could put this into maybe like something like modus
Okay, I could.
tollens, right? Where you say
Yeah,
P therefore Q, not Q
I
therefore.
could say everything that you just said and replace God with a big fat man in a pink tutu riding a unicorn on a moon revolving around Saturn, and it makes as much sense as what you just said.
Well, no, that's just not true. Okay, because I mean you
It
don't,
is
but
true. There's a big fat
yeah,
man in a
look,
pink tutu. No, there's a big
Can you,
fat man in a pink tutu.
Jeff,
No,
all
no,
right.
this is our room.
What's
You
the
don't like it?
contradiction in what Jeff's
There's a
saying?
big
What's the
there's a
contradiction,
big
J.
fat
Robin?
man there's a big fat man in a pink tutu riding a unicorn on a moon around Saturn, and that's where all facts are grounded,
Yeah,
and it
Jeff, I
must
can
be
tell you
that
haven't
way.
thought about this much. I can tell you must. Yeah.
It must be that way. It must be that way
Mhm,
because if it's not that way, we're reduced to our own intellect, and we rely on this big fat man in the pink tutu and
yeah.
his grounding of facts. So that makes as much sense as what you've just said, Jay Robin.
Yeah,
You
I can
can't put an
tell
argument. You
Jeff.
cannot put an
Yeah,
argument
yeah.
together. You
Okay,
don't have
yeah,
an argument, and I understand
Jeff.
if you don't have an
I can
argument,
tell you
Jay.
haven't
Just
thought
say
through
you
this
don't have.
much. Okay, it's all right. I can
Just
tell you
say
haven't
you
thought through
don't. Just
this.
say.
Okay.
Just you
So did
can.
you?
Can you?
All right. So I want you to represent
Does
now.
anybody else
Now
in
I
the room
gave
think? Does
now.
anybody else in the room think
Yeah.
Jeff has thought through this? What do you guys
All
think?
right. I don't.
Does
Maybe
anybody
the
else in the room
atheists
think
do.
that?
Oh, not
Let me
even the
ask you
atheists
something.
aren't even answering. Wow. Okay.
Can,
Look. It's not
can you give
important.
it?
That's not
Can
important.
you give
Okay.
this in a
Look. It's
syllogism?
okay.
Again, you can't. You don't have
Look.
an argument. You can't put an
All right.
argument together, and it's
Okay.
okay,
It's
Jay.
okay.
You
Jenny,
should
Jeff.
just
just ask
Jeff.
the
admit it.
questions.
Why don't you
Jeff,
just admit it,
Stop
Jay?
trying to be like me, okay? It's okay. Like I know you're
You
trying
just
to
don't
do
have
this
an
kind of
argument.
Hey,
nonchalant
You
thing.
don't have
hey,
an
It's all
Jay.
argument.
right.
Hey,
Jeff,
Jay.
It's
Jeff,
okay.
Jeff, listen,
Hey,
Jeff.
hold
It's
on.
Do you
okay.
want
Oh,
do you want to
hey,
hear my do
Jay.
you want to hear do you want to hear my
No, I don't
reductio? Do
want
you
to
want to hear
hear
it
it.
again?
Will
Jeff,
another
I'm
mod
asking
please tell
Jeff.
me how you fucking mute somebody? I can't
I'm
figure
asking
it
Jeff.
out.
Or if you
I
don't
don't
want
give
me
a
here, just
fuck
say you
what
don't want
you're
me here.
asking.
I'll leave
I look. Here's the
without
thing.
any
You don't
further
have to
question.
leave,
Do
but
you want
here's
me here
the
still? Do
thing.
you still want me
I want to
here?
argue about you.
Jenny,
Well, yeah, we want you here,
Jenny.
but I just want to ask you one simple question, man. What is the contradiction in what Jeff proposed about the big fat man?
Because it doesn't. This big fat man would be a physical entity. It's contingent, right? It's not.
Oh no,
It's
oh no.
composed of
His
things.
that big fat man is just a hologram. He's really a disembodied
So it's a
mind.
disembodied
Again,
mind. Oh, okay, good.
it
All
doesn't
right. So then it's the
matter.
same
It
thing
doesn't
then.
matter. No, it doesn't matter.
No.
It
With
why
respect to its
again?
essential properties, it's the same, right? So
Why does it have to be
so
a
you haven't actually
disembodied
done anything,
mind?
right? So you
Why
haven't
does it
actually
have
done
to be?
anything then.
Why it's not a disembodied mind. I misspoke. Why does it have to be a
All right,
disembodied
Jeff,
mind?
look, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
It
Okay, this
is
is
embarrassing
embarrassing.
for you
I don't
because you
even
don't
want
have
to.
an
I don't
argument.
look. I don't even think it's
Because
worth
you
my
don't
time to
have an
address you
argument.
at this point.
Because
You
Jay
just
doesn't
flip
have an
flop like three
argument.
times in the past 30
Jay
seconds. You
doesn't
just
have
flip
an
flop three
argument.
times in the past 30 seconds, Jeff. Like I'm not saying this to
Yeah.
be rude to you, but this is like you're just doing this to yourself at this point, and I'm trying to stop
Okay.
you.
Sure. Sure. Give me the
Okay.
argument, Jay. Why does God?
All right. I'm gonna present you with the. I'm gonna
Why
present
are
you
all
with the
facts?
reductio again.
Why is it
Uh huh.
necessary that all facts are grounded in a disembodied mind? And please don't give me a syllogism, something
Okay.
with like a premise and a couple of arguments behind it, and use the words. Therefore, all facts must be grounded in a disembodied
Okay.
mind. Can you do that?
Are you familiar with the reductio ad absurdum? Do you know what that
Yeah,
is? If not, I'll explain it to you.
You've asked me that 5 times. Can you
Well, I
put
don't
an
think I've gotten a clear
argument?
answer.
It
If
doesn't
you
matter
answered me,
because
I didn't really understand your
I've
answer.
not gotten a clear answer because you've not given me a syllogism or an argument why all facts must be grounded in a disembodied mind. Can you
I'm
give
trying to get
me
to
a
that point right now.
syllogism?
I'm
Can
asking you
you
right now.
give
Do
me
you
a
know what it
syll?
just? So, are you gonna
No.
overtalk me, or what's gonna
Yes,
happen?
I am. Yes, I am because I'm not. I don't
All
want to
right,
hear.
then. Well, all
I
right.
don't want
So,
to hear.
yeah.
I don't want to
Listen,
hear your
Jeff.
argument. Absurd.
Jeff.
No, I want to hear an argument. If you have
Well, an
something to
argument ad
say in
absurdum
form
is
of
an
a
argument. All right.
give
So
me a
you're showing that,
syllogism.
like for example,
Give me
you
a
say something
syllogism.
like an
Give
argument
me
ad
a
absurdum can be put
syllogism.
in like modus.
You don't
So,
have a
can you let me
syllogism,
finish,
do you?
please? Can you let me
No,
finish?
because
Can you let me
not unless you're
finish?
going to give me a syllogism. Are
All
you
right.
going to give me a
Can you stop?
syllogism?
Wow, Jeff,
Are
you're
you
moderating your. This is how you're conducting the room. Really?
are you
You're
going
gonna
to give
do
me a
exactly. You're gonna
syllogism?
do exactly what you accuse other people of
I,
doing.
I'm doing what you and Darth do all the time. So are you going to give
Okay,
me a syllogism?
there isn't. So are you doing things? Are you doing something wrong, or are you doing something good right now? What
Yes,
you're doing
I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something wrong. Are you going to give me a syllogism?
Why would you do something that's wrong?
Because I don't give a shit about you. Are you going to give me a
Well, then
syllogism?
Why do you complain about Darth and me if
Are
you're
you going to
doing
give me a
something that's wrong?
syllogism?
Are you a
He's
You
trying
don't
to
hypocrite?
have
get
a.
out, giving
So
an argument.
I want to
Are
make
you a
it clear
hypocrite?
that I want to make it clear that Jay cannot give a syllogism
Well,
in
I would have
argument.
given it by now, but I have to address your
God
bad
exists
behavior.
God
I have to
because
address
exists
your bad behavior.
because.
So
So
everybody
so
here, Jay does not have an argument.
so
He cannot
I'm
he
actually
cannot give
so
a syllogism.
if you would
God
quiet
exists
down for a second, I would give it to you.
because
All right. Can we get moderation for the obstruction in the background, please? So what we're
Okay, Jay.
talking
So here's
about
your last chance. Here's your
what we're
last
talking about
chance.
is a
Do a
reductio. What we're
syllogism.
doing
Get
right
me a
now,
syllogism.
what I'm doing right now is a reductio ad absurdum.
Guys,
Okay, I
No, I
presented it
want a
to you.
syllogism. I
I
don't want a
presented it to you
deductive
earlier.
adversarium. I want a syllogism
I'm still speaking. I'm still speaking.
because you're not doing.
So
I want a syllogism.
a reductio ad absurdum is when you take a scenario and you are looking at its negation and looking at the
Okay, I've just muted Jay because
if you
he's
don't
going
want
on
me
the
here,
same
I'll just
thing.
leave.
He doesn't have an argument.
Jeff,
He
okay,
may I
doesn't
ask,
want.
it's okay.
He's
Jeff?
going to run
It's
Yeah.
away,
okay,
Jeff.
Jeff.
I'd
Don't let
actually
him
Every
run
like to
job,
ask a
away.
it's
question
okay,
that's got
guys.
something
It's
to do
okay.
with
Shut
Run
up.
away.
this. Yeah, I mean,
Jeff, he's
I
going
wanted
to
to
run
ask him
him
if he
now.
agreed with Roy Montero.
Can I attempt to steel man J. Robin's
It's
syllogism? Oh,
okay.
he's gone
Tell
now.
him
I
it's
don't know
okay,
why we're
Jeff. No
interested
need to
in this.
quarrel. Don't you guys don't get it's okay. No quarreling, please.
Who's that? Personally, I wanted to know if he agreed that addiction was an act of willful disobedience. And I think that would be more useful than just running a precept argument. I mean, who cares about what he believes? It's how he treats people that's the problem.
Thanks for letting me talk, Jay, Jeff,
Jeff, I just
everybody.
came up here to say that my definition of God is an unembodied mind, things, matter, and energy are derivative. I heard you say disembodied, but I think disembodied implies that something once had a body and was disembodied.
What's the argument for the
Okay.
unembodied mind?
Yeah. What's the argument?
yeah, God is a mind. God is
He
ultimate.
only
God
has
exists
two properties,
because
right?
Yeah, Biscuit. Do you have a syllogism or argument for God being what you said not disembodied but unembodied mind?
Well, I mean, first of all, not every argument is an Aristotelian syllogism, but there are syllogisms, like the Kalam cosmological argument is a Aristotelian syllogism. But not every argument is a syllogism. So, I mean, I think he was trying to make a reductio ad absurdum, showing that what he believes is true because the every alternative is absurd. And I think
Wait,
you
does
were
he
just
know
pressing
every
him for a.
alternative?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him. He left.
Well, of
But
course
yeah,
he does.
there are syllogisms that exist.
So, unlike last time,
oh, God.
no, I just want to quickly say he was directly asked why he called Brenda Brendan. He explained it's because he doesn't think trans is real and he thinks it's his duty to do that. So,
It's the righteous thing, he
yeah,
said.
there's no more arguing about it, right? Just decide if you want to have him on your stages or not. Maybe it's more important to argue about religion, but I don't want him on my stage because he's hateful.
Yeah.
That's all.
Point taken, Haiti. Point taken.
That's it.
Well,
Yep. And yeah.
can I say something about that? So it's one thing to just do it when you happen across it in life. Like say you see a trans person, you feel bad and you address them and you're rude and you use the wrong pronouns or whatever. But they didn't do that. They specifically formed a room and spent minutes or yeah, longer, maybe an hour, whatever, however it was, talking about this and going over and over again, going out of their way to be rude and obnoxious about this particular person. Trying to ridicule and harm somebody. And the point of that is well, there's a lot of virtue signaling going on, but it's a form of bullying that is just uh, I don't know. It's insidious and it's meant to dissuade other people like Brenda from coming on the app.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. I Yeah. I'm working through um my thoughts about things because I'm an eternal optimist and I do believe that people have the ability to change and I'm having to sort through uh, that whole thing with people like Jay. Um,
Well,
it's
I gotta say too, like I just was flabbergasted that he uh, said that he believed Jesus would act just as he was acting. I mean, because like I was a Christian for 35 years, and the being that I called my Lord and Savior would not act in any way how Darth or JRobin act. Now, of course, they would say, "Well, you're an atheist," but um, as far as when I was a believer, then I believed what they always try and say, that Jesus is love. Jesus, would not, disrespect somebody, would not. I mean, that's all it is right there. It's disrespect. I mean, it's somebody is telling you, this is how I want to be called. This is my name now. And to not do that is simply saying, I don't respect you as a human being. And Jesus would never do that.
And that is the absolute. I don't understand why anybody wants to argue with this crowd anymore, because the main issue is not the nature of their arguments, it's the way that they argue. And I am a Christian, and I think what you see, I've never heard Jeff address anybody else or or interact with them like that. And Jay says, I obviously affect you more than you affect me. Yeah, because you're being an asshole.